Hi, Tam Wrigley from iStyleTV, and I'm really excited to be launching a brand new segment called iInspire here on iStyleTV, and our first guest is Chrissie Swan. Ta-da! So you hit our screens in 2003 on everyone's favourite house guest on Big Brother.
Yes.
From there, your career just skyrocketed. What have been some of your highs and lows throughout the last 12 years?
Well, look, the whole thing has been a high, really. I did Big Brother in 2003, so that's 12 years ago. God, it's a long time, isn't it?
It's like thinking back to your high school reunion.
I know. I was like, God, that's a long time. But I was an advertising copywriter before I did Big Brother, so I never thought I would work in TV or radio, of course, because I'd sorted out my career and that was what I was doing. So it's been a great surprise and a great thrill, really.
Did you ever think being on a show like Big Brother would launch you down a different career path?
No, I didn't. And I think that's probably been, weirdly, the secret to my success in that I never thought that that was what I wanted to do, and I had absolutely no aspirations whatsoever. I thought I would do the show as a joke because I thought my friends would find it funny, and they did. And then I would just go back to my real life. And I think because I really didn't have any desire, sometimes that's looked weirdly favourably upon by people making decisions. I think a lot of reality TV people make the mistake of doing a show like that, and there are so many more now, in order to launch a career, and so they get disappointed when it doesn't happen. I think I feel very fortunate that it wasn't what I planned and it happened.
Because a lot of people think that, don't they, now? Because, you know, they think, I'll get onto a reality TV show and it will just send me down the path I want to go.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, it's actually very rare to get a job and a career from a reality TV show, even though the misconception is that everyone gets a job afterwards. There's a maybe 5 people that have got jobs, and been able to make them last.
Yeah. So you're being obviously a very busy mum and huge in TV and in radio. How do you manage your work-life balance? Well,
look, I think the work-life balance thing is a myth, to be honest. I don't think it exists. I don't think you can raise a family and work full-time and ever feel like you're coping. I really don't think that's possible. And I think the sooner women realise that it is a myth, that it's actually unachievable, the happier we'll be. You've got to embrace the chaos of it. You're never going to have order. You're
and
really
I think
not.
if you have I know with my partner, he's very supportive in everything that I do. So I think if you have that support network, even from your partner, that will just, yes, you are busy and you've got to race all over the country doing things, but you've got your husband there to just run the house. He becomes the house mum for you while you're away.
Yeah. I mean, there's also no work-life balance in that role either. I just think it's a myth across the board. I really do. Whether you're working or whether you're at home with kids, this idea of work-life balance where you wake up in the morning and you feel like everything's in control,
doesn't happen.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
And you just need to embrace that, accept that as it is, and try and find some joy and order aside. Having said that, this is the first year in 12 years where I haven't had a full-time job, where I've had to get out of bed, get in my car, be at a desk at a certain time, and I'm really enjoying that. And I find that I'm doing some TV, which is block recorded, and so I do this big, intensive, concentrated chunk of work, and then
you get to sit back and relax.
Yeah, and I find psychologically I'm feeling a lot better this year than I have, because I feel like I've got more time.
So looking back over your life, if you could give yourself, your 15-year-old self, one piece of advice, what would it be?
Look, go with the flow. Go with the flow. I think, teenagers now, and probably back then in the dark ages when I was 15, you know, there's a lot of pressure on what are you going to be when you grow up. And we do it to our kids. People asking my 6-year-old, what are you going to be when you grow up? And it's just not that important.
No. And that's the thing, when you're in high school, 11 and 12, they sit there and go, you need to know what you want to do when you leave school.
You totally don't need to do. There is no way, I think, that a 17-year-old knows themselves well enough or their place in the world to know what they want to do. 17, I mean, how ridiculous. So, you know, my advice to my 15-year-old self and anyone who's 15 is just have a good time. Have a good time and work on your character, because that's really what is going to hold you in good stead.
Yeah. So you're fresh out of the jungle.
Yeah.
My goodness, that was just crazy. How was that whole experience? You're out.
It was, the jungle was really hard. It really was. And, you know, there were days where, most days, I just didn't want to be there, couldn't cope with it.
Besides the fear of maybe getting attacked by some wild animal in the middle of the night, what other challenges did you face?
Well, the boredom was huge.
Yeah.
You know, like it or not, our lives are full of stimuli. And I think we've got used to that, constantly having something to read or look at or see or someone to talk to always. And I feel like it was a real awakening in communication because we're so used to doing it online and texting and then there we were, we had nothing but human beings, and I wanted to Google people. I was in there going, I just want to Google Maureen McCormack, you know, Marsha Brady, I want to know what's going on, but I had to actually ask her questions. And, you know, Merv Hughes, I wanted to know about his career and I just wanted to Google it. But, you know, I think even though it was incredibly difficult, there was a lot great about it as well in that, you know, I had to interact with human beings.
Maybe I should send my 13-year-old in there.
Well, you know, it's worth doing. It's worth doing. It was an eye-opener. And just living with nothing was really interesting. And I think a bit of that has rubbed off. I think, you know, you sort of go down the rabbit hole of excess and acquisition of things and sometimes it gets out of control before you even realise it. So that was good. And even though it was hard, I'm glad I did it because A, there was an end point. And B, it's good to do difficult things as well. It's not a bad thing to be frightened or uncomfortable occasionally.
So what was it about I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here that drew you to that project?
Well, it was a few things. For the first time I was available, so I stopped full-time work on December 5th and the show started in January. And there was a lot of television shows that I wanted to be part of over the last 10 years that I couldn't be because I had to do, you know, I had to be somewhere else every morning for breakfast radio. So I was excited about the show. I'd read about it. I knew it was going to be fun. I love reality
Anything
TV.
with Julia Morrison, it's got to be fun.
Well, here's the thing. And then I found out Julia was hosting and I thought, well, then I have to do it. Because she is just golden. And I wanted to be a part of it. And I knew the crew. Peter Abbott was the executive producer on that show and was also the executive producer on my series of Big Brother. So I knew that it would be a nice production. I would be looked after as well as they could. So yeah, it was a difficult decision obviously because I've got 3 small children and I've never even worked one night away from home. But on the other side of the coin, it was a job and it suited me time-wise, and I just lost my job and I'm the breadwinner. So
you said, why not?
It wasn't really a tough decision to make.
How protected are you with those reality TV shows? And you mean you're in the middle of the jungle in Africa. Is there some sort of safety barriers or?
Good question. They had rangers that would patrol the camp all night. So we never saw them. Occasionally we'd see a shadow in the distance. But there's that. But we were very well protected. But it was in the middle of nowhere. It was in a nature reserve about 10 minutes out of Kruger National Park. And when you say national park or nature reserve, you sort of think of, ones around that
here.
You can go to here.
It's not like the worst thing you get is eaten by a mozzie.
Exactly, no. And there's no, coin-operated barbecues and stuff like that. It was the wilderness. There were animals everywhere, and particularly baboons and all that sort of stuff, which can be pretty vicious. But they did have security and all that. We did feel safe, apart from a couple of nights when the power went out. And because they had to light the campsite as if it was a studio, so it looked good on television. All of a sudden, plunged into absolute pitch black darkness, and that's when we sort of went.
I would have freaked. I'm scared of the dark.
Really in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it was really that was scary.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, probably just doing the same thing. To be honest, I mean, it's a great privilege to work in television and radio. It's really fun and I really love it. And I've got 3 kids, so I'll probably be working till I'm 85. So 5 years, just doing more of the same. I've got some exciting television coming up this year and probably next year.
I was going to say, what's next for you?
Yeah, I'm doing the Spelling Bee, the Great Australian Spelling Bee.
Awesome, yeah.
Which I'm really excited about. So that's a
big one for the kids to sit and watch too.
Yes, it's a prime time show on 10 with Grant Denyer, and I'm a spelling nerd, so it's right up my alley. I can't wait, and I was a spelling champion at school.
You're going to have your little glasses on it. And
Oh yeah. Now I'm going to be sort of backstage with the kids and the parents, sort of finding out how they're feeling and
testing on their words before they go on stage.
I can't wait. And the kids are incredible. I mean, they're just so clever, you can't believe it.
Well, thanks for joining us on our brand new segment, iInspire, here on iStyleTV. Be sure to subscribe to iStyleTV on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. From all the team here at iStyleTV, I'm Tam Wrigley, and we'll see you next time. I was going to bring it today. I actually bought a whole roll to give to you of bubble wrap because I heard that
My mum is addicted to it.
What is it about the bubble wrap that you love?
That's my mum.
Oh, is it your
It's
mum?
not me, it's